Let me ask you something personal, but important. Are you over 70? Or maybe you're just getting there, and you've always believed that solo pleasure, yes, I mean masturbation, is harmless, maybe even helpful? You've probably heard people say, hey, if it feels good and you're not hurting anybody, what's the big deal? And for most of your life, that was probably true. But now your body's different, your energy's different, your needs, your hormones, your muscles, even your skin. They've all changed more than you might realize. And here's the part no one talks about. Certain things you've done for years, habits that once felt normal, even comforting, might actually be hurting you now. Quietly, silently, without warning. You might think, it's just part of my routine. But what if I told you that some of those routines could be draining your energy, irritating your prostate, messing with your sleep, or even messing with your peace of mind? This video isn't about shame. It's not about judging. It's about protecting your health, preserving your confidence, and keeping your pleasure safe and satisfying for many more years to come. Because you deserve that. You've made it this far through life, and you've earned the right to take care of yourself fully and honestly. So if you've ever felt strange changes after pleasuring yourself, like soreness, tiredness, trouble urinating, or just a foggy feeling you can't explain, you're not alone. And you're not imagining it. In fact, you might be making some common mistakes and not even know it. That's why I made this video for you. By the time you're done watching, you'll know the 5 biggest masturbation mistakes older men make after 70 and how to fix them. Simple, private, and healing. So let's talk honestly, man to man or heart to heart, about what's really happening and how you can feel good, stay healthy, and keep control of your body the way you deserve to. Oh, and before we get into it, tell me in the comments, have you ever wondered if your body reacts differently now than it used to? Just drop a quick "still learning" if you're open to taking better care of yourself in this next chapter of life. And if this kind of honest, respectful conversation matters to you, hit that subscribe button. Here on Flourish After 60, we talk about things most people are too shy to say, but we say them with care, with clarity, and always with your dignity in mind. Now, let's get into it. You're going to want to hear this. Let's start with something that might seem small, but isn't. Mistake number 1, ignoring physical discomfort or pain after pleasuring yourself. Now, I know how easy it is to brush that off. A little soreness here, a dull ache there. You might tell yourself, I'm just getting older. That's probably all it is. But let me tell you a quick story. There's a man named Joe. He's 74, been retired a few years, enjoys his quiet mornings, still likes to take care of himself in private every now and then, just like he always has. But lately, after those moments, something started to feel off. Not painful exactly, but achy. A slight burning sensation, some tenderness the next day. And Joe, he did what most men would do. He ignored it, told himself it was just his age. Weeks passed, then months, and that dull ache, it didn't go away, it got worse. Eventually, Joe had to go to the doctor. Turns out what he thought was just getting older was actually inflammation in his prostate, possibly triggered by pressure and friction he didn't even realize was too much for his body now. That's the thing. After 70, your body speaks in whispers, not shouts. And if you don't listen early, those whispers turn into bigger problems later. See, as we age, everything about your skin, your blood flow, your nerve sensitivity, it all shifts. Your skin becomes thinner, your tissues get drier, circulation slows down, even your natural lubrication changes. What once felt totally fine might now cause micro tears, irritation, or even internal swelling, especially around the pelvic area and the prostate. But here's the dangerous part. It doesn't always hurt right away. That discomfort can build gradually, quietly, and before you know it, what used to be a source of comfort has become a source of stress, physically, emotionally, even hormonally. Now here's what a lot of men get wrong. They think, well, if it hurts, I'll just tough it out. I've lived through worse. And sure, you've been through a lot. You've endured things many people will never understand. But ignoring pain, especially pain in such a sensitive and private area, doesn't make you strong. Listening to your body, that's real strength. Being honest with yourself and getting help when something feels off, that's wisdom. So if you've noticed soreness after masturbating or any kind of irritation, swelling or discomfort, don't just chalk it up to old age. That's your body asking for something different. Here's what you can do. Start by using a good water-based lubricant, something gentle, unscented, made for sensitive skin. Go slower, be more mindful, and most importantly, take breaks. Give your body time to respond, not react. And if discomfort keeps showing up, don't wait. See a urologist, not because something's definitely wrong, but because you deserve answers, not assumptions. Your health matters, your pleasure matters, and pain. That's never something to ignore. But discomfort isn't the only thing that can sneak up on you. There's another mistake that flies under the radar for a lot of older men, and this one doesn't show up in your body. It starts in your mind. Let's talk about that next. Now let's talk about mistake number 2, one that doesn't leave marks on your body, but chips away at something deeper. Overusing adult content to get aroused. Let's be honest, it's easier than ever now. You've got a smartphone in your hand, a tablet on your nightstand, or maybe you're just one click away from any kind of video you want. It's fast, it's private, and you don't have to rely on imagination or memory. But here's where things get tricky. Take Frank, he's 71, still sharp, still active, still in tune with his body, but lately he's noticed something. What used to arouse him easily doesn't anymore. He needs longer videos, more extreme content. He finds himself scrolling, skipping, searching, chasing a feeling that used to come naturally. And after a while, he's not just frustrated, he's distracted. His focus is shot. His sleep feels off. His desire, it's still there, but something's changed. Eventually, Frank started experiencing mild erectile dysfunction, something he never dealt with before. But it wasn't his body failing him. It was overstimulation. You see, after 70, your dopamine levels, the chemical that fuels desire and reward, they naturally decline. It's part of aging. So when you flood your brain with nonstop visual triggers, your system can't keep up. It's like flooring the gas pedal in an old car that just needs a slower ride. Over time, your brain becomes desensitized, not just to the images, but to the natural, gentle spark that makes intimacy feel real. You start relying on shock to feel pleasure, and that rewires your brain in ways most people don't realize. This is called dopamine burnout, and it can leave you feeling emotionally flat, mentally scattered, or even anxious when you're not watching anything. But here's the worst part. It slowly disconnects you from yourself, from your memories, your fantasies, your real desires, the kind that used to come from within, not from a screen. Now, a lot of older men fall into the same trap. They think, I'm not hurting anyone. I'm alone. What's the harm? But here's the truth. It's not about shame. It's not about right or wrong. It's about balance. Because when your pleasure depends on something outside of you, something that needs to be more intense every time, you lose touch with what actually brings you joy. And when that happens, pleasure becomes a performance, not a connection. So what can you do? Try this. Turn the screens off. Give yourself a break. Instead, take a few quiet minutes just to reconnect with your imagination. Think back to a time in your life that brought real warmth, real intimacy. Slow things down. Notice how your body responds, not to noise and flashing lights, but to the feeling of presence, of slowness, of being right there with yourself. And if you miss the stimulation, that's okay. You're retraining your mind. You're giving your brain a chance to remember what real, natural desire feels like. And remember, this is a process. There's no shame in needing time to adjust. You're not giving something up. You're getting something back. Your focus, your peace of mind, your connection to your own body. But stimulation itself isn't always the issue. Sometimes it's how we use it. And that brings us to mistake number 3, one that's more common than you think, and a lot more harmful than it seems. Let's talk about it. Now let's talk about something that most men never think twice about. Mistake number 3, using too much pressure or force. This one's common and quiet, and for a lot of older men, it goes unnoticed until it's already done some damage. Let me introduce you to Dennis. He's 76, strong-willed, independent, and used to doing things his way. He's been pleasuring himself the same way for decades. Firm grip, fast rhythm, no hesitation. But recently, Dennis started feeling something strange. A tingling sensation in his fingertips. Some numbness along the shaft. Even a weird pins and needles feeling that would stick around after he was finished. He figured it was just age. Circulation, maybe. But what he didn't know is that he was slowly damaging his nerves. There's a real name for this. Death grip syndrome. It's what happens when you use too much pressure for too long, too often. Over time, the nerves in the penis, especially as they become more delicate with age, start to lose their sensitivity. And here's the part that's hard to hear. That lost sensitivity, it doesn't always come back. What once brought pleasure now brings frustration. You need more time, more pressure, more effort, but the result feels less. Less satisfying, less connected, less human. See, after 70, your body's not trying to slow you down on purpose. It's just asking for a gentler approach. Your skin is thinner now, your circulation's a little slower, and the tissues that once bounced back overnight, they take their time healing now. But many men think, the harder I go, the more I'll feel. It's instinct, it's habit, it's muscle memory from younger days. But at this stage of life, more force doesn't mean more pleasure. In fact, it could mean less sensitivity, less control, and in some cases, even delayed or absent climax, which can leave you feeling more frustrated than fulfilled. So what's the better way? Start slow. I know it might feel strange at first, but slow doesn't mean boring. It means connected, mindful, safe. Use both hands, not at once, but alternate between them. Change the angle, the rhythm. Let your body teach you what feels good now, not what used to work 20 years ago. And most importantly, use a soft grip. Think gentle, not tight, responsive, not aggressive. You can also explore massage tools made specifically for older men. These devices aren't about performance. They're about comfort, blood flow, and keeping things safe and enjoyable. You'd be surprised how much more pleasure you can feel when you stop trying so hard to chase it. And if you're experiencing tingling, numbness, or any kind of odd sensation, take a break. Let your body rest. Let your nerves reset. And please, don't ignore it. Because pleasure should never come with pain. Not now. Not ever. Now, while physical habits like pressure and grip can directly affect your body, there's another mistake that reaches even deeper. It hides in the quiet hours. It shows up when you're alone. And not because you want to feel good, but because you don't want to feel anything at all. Let's talk about something that hits a little closer to the heart. Mistake number 4, masturbating to escape loneliness or boredom. This one's quiet. It creeps in when the house is too still, when the days feel long, when the silence becomes a little too loud. There's a man named Robert. He's 76, widowed, kids live out of town. Most of his friends have either moved on or passed on. And one day he said something that stuck with me. He said, I don't really do it because I want to. I do it because there's nothing else to do. It helps the time pass. But after it's done, when the room is still and the lights are low, he doesn't feel better. He feels more alone. Not because of the act itself, but because of the emptiness behind it. See, pleasure, real pleasure, comes with intention, with connection, even if it's just with yourself. But when you use it to fill a void, when it becomes something you do instead of something you feel, that's when the emotional weight begins to build. Now, don't get me wrong. There's no shame in seeking comfort. We all need it. But when you start using masturbation not for pleasure, but as a distraction, that's a red flag your soul is waving quietly. Over time, it drains you, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It offers a momentary release, yes, but at the cost of your connection to the world around you. Because what starts as a quick escape can turn into a habit, and habits without meaning, they can slowly eat away at your joy, your motivation, your ability to feel truly alive. A lot of older men believe it's just harmless. Better this than doing nothing, they say. But I want to tell you the truth. When you're using any kind of pleasure to mask loneliness, you're not helping yourself. You're hiding from yourself, and your body knows the difference. You start to feel more tired, less interested in the things you used to enjoy. That spark, it starts to flicker. Here's the good news. It's never too late to reconnect. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, socially. Ask yourself honestly, am I doing this because I want to, or because I don't know what else to do? If the answer leans toward the second one, that's okay. That's honest. That's brave. But now it's time to shift. Start small. Pick up the phone and call someone. Take a walk and wave to a neighbor. Join a local group, even online ones. Rediscover an old hobby, something that gave you joy before screens took over. And when it comes to those private moments, try approaching them from a place of care, not just habit. Light a candle. Put on calming music. Remind yourself that you're not just passing time, you're honoring your body. Because even now, especially now, you deserve intimacy that's rooted in connection, not avoidance. Pleasure isn't wrong, but it loses its meaning when it becomes a tool to cover up emptiness. Fill that space instead with purpose, with presence, with people. And when you return to yourself, when you engage in those moments of pleasure, let them be full of life again. Not a pause from loneliness, but a celebration of wholeness. Now, we've talked about physical pain, overstimulation, grip, and emotional escape. But there's one more mistake. One that gets buried under pride, one that keeps too many men silent, even when they know something isn't right. And it's this silence that can do the most harm of all. Let's talk about it. The final mistake. Now we've come to mistake number 5. And it might just be the most important one of all. Not talking to your doctor about it. I want to tell you about Sam. He's 78. Tough guy, old school. Raised in a time when men didn't talk about what went on down there. He kept to himself, kept quiet, handled things on his own. But one day he started noticing a little swelling, some discomfort after touching himself. It didn't hurt exactly, just felt different, tight, heavy, not quite right. He brushed it off and told himself, it's probably nothing. I'm fine. I'm just getting older. And every time he went to the doctor, he left out that part, because let's be honest, it felt too private, too awkward, too personal. Fast forward a few months, the swelling didn't go away. In fact, it got worse. Finally, he couldn't ignore it anymore. When he finally opened up to his doctor, the diagnosis came quick. Prostate inflammation. And it had likely been brewing for some time. Time that could have been used to catch it early, to treat it easily, to prevent the stress he was now carrying. Sam's not alone, not even close. There are thousands, millions of older men who are walking around with small warning signs, silent discomfort, or strange changes in their body, but saying nothing. Because somewhere along the line, we were taught to be silent about our sexual health, to be embarrassed, to feel like it wasn't something we should talk about. But here's what you need to hear. Your masturbation habits are part of your overall health. They affect your prostate, they affect your hormones, they affect your sleep, your stress levels, even your emotional state. And doctors today, they're not judging. They're not embarrassed. They're trained. They've seen it all. They're waiting for you to bring it up, because often they won't ask unless you do. But when you stay silent, they miss crucial clues. Clues that could point to an enlarged prostate, urinary tract problems, hormonal shifts, pelvic floor tension, or even early signs of more serious conditions. And here's the thing. These problems don't always start loud. They don't always come with pain. Sometimes it's just a little discomfort, a weird twinge, a change in how you feel after you release. It might be nothing, or it might be your body tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, pay attention to me. So don't let pride, fear, or awkwardness keep you from getting the care you deserve. When you sit down with your doctor, just say it plainly. I've noticed some changes when I pleasure myself. Can we talk about it? That one sentence, those few seconds of courage, could save you weeks, months, even years of confusion and discomfort. You've got nothing to prove. You've already lived through enough. Now you're in a chapter where your health matters more than your pride. So speak up, ask questions, get answers, because being strong doesn't mean suffering in silence. It means being wise enough to seek support before things go wrong. You deserve clarity, you deserve peace of mind, and you deserve a doctor who sees you as a whole man. Not just a number, not just an age. So let that next appointment be the one where you stop hiding, where you ask what you've been holding in. Your body will thank you, your mind will relax, and your future self, he'll be proud that you chose knowledge over shame. Now, we've talked through a lot. 5 hidden masturbation mistakes that older men make after 70, and how each one, in its own quiet way, can chip away at your health, your energy, your confidence. But you've listened. You've stayed with me. You've shown that you care enough about your body to learn what most men will never even talk about. That means something. And now it's time to pull all of this together. With strength, with heart, and with a little hope. Let's wrap this up together. You know, it's never easy to sit with the truth that our bodies change. That the things we used to do, without thinking, now ask for a little more care, a little more attention, a little more grace. Especially when it comes to something as personal, as private, as misunderstood, as masturbation. For many older men, just hearing that word brings a bit of discomfort. Maybe it brings memories. Maybe it brings shame. Maybe it brings silence. But that silence, it's not helping anyone. In fact, it's hurting us. Because what we don't talk about, we don't heal. And what we ignore, it grows in the dark. But here's what I want you to know. Deep down, like a truth you've always carried, you're not broken. You're not less of a man. You're not too old to care. You're not past the point of change. You are wise, you are worthy, and you are still very much alive. Your body, it's not what it used to be. But that doesn't mean it's failing. It's evolving. It's asking you to meet it with patience, to move with it, not against it. And your pleasure, it still matters. But it deserves to grow with you, safely, gently, with dignity. If you recognize any of the 5 mistakes we talked about, don't be hard on yourself. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like it's too late. It's not. It never is. Small adjustments can make all the difference. More awareness, a softer touch, a little more listening, and a little less rushing. Maybe even one honest conversation with your doctor. Because taking control of your health and pleasure at 70, 80, or even 90, that isn't weakness. That's power. That's maturity. That's real manhood. So whether you've made one of these mistakes or all 5, this isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a better one. One where you honor your body, where you respect your limits, where you enjoy your moments without fear, shame, or confusion. You're not alone in this. And the fact that you're still here, still learning, still listening, that tells me everything I need to know about the kind of man you are. Now, just to quickly recap, here are the 5 key masturbation mistakes older men should avoid. Ignoring pain or discomfort, because it's often a warning sign, not a normal part of aging. Overusing visual content, because your brain needs balance, not overload. Using too much pressure or force, because your nerves are more sensitive than you think. Doing it out of boredom or loneliness, because emotional connection matters, even when you're alone. Avoiding open conversations with your doctor, because silence delays healing and your health deserves a voice. So let me ask you, genuinely, which of these stood out to you the most? Which one made you stop and think? Drop a comment below. Let me know what surprised you, what you've noticed in your own experience. Even what you wish you'd learned sooner, because this space right here, this channel, Flourish After 60, it's not just about giving advice. It's about building a place where older adults can speak freely, learn gently, and grow confidently. No shame, no pressure, just truth and support. So if this video opened your eyes even a little, if it helped you think differently about your body, your pleasure, your habits, subscribe. We've got so many more conversations coming your way about health, about intimacy, about aging well, with wisdom, with humor, and with heart. And remember, you don't have to figure it all out today. But the fact that you're paying attention, that you care enough to learn, that matters more than you know. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for trusting me with this conversation. And most of all, thank you for showing up for yourself. Stay informed, stay kind to your body, and never forget, wisdom isn't just in your years, it's in your choices. One thoughtful moment at a time. I'll see you in the next one.